is a show that I've been wanting to do for quite a long while now, primarily inspired by a few different things, but the biggest inspiration has been the people throughout my life who have always kind of shamed me for loving Godzilla, talking about it, being enthusiastic about the character and franchise, even into my mid 30s, because every now and then people will say, "Oh, you're into Godzilla, you collect things, you watch the films all the time. That's a kid's thing. Why are you still doing that?" And my response to those people would be, why not? Like, why can't we enjoy things? Why can't we celebrate characters and films that we absolutely love?
I love talking about Godzilla. Like growing up, I always was surrounded by people who would like tell me, well, not directly tell me to shut up when I'm talking about Godzilla, but they would be clearly uninterested. So I just like, but I want to talk about it. So I made my own YouTube channel talking about it. And after a while, it grew, and now I have my own talk show, which is kind of ironic because I'm an introvert having a talk show. Yeah, that's the thing. I've actually met a bunch of awesome people through the Godzilla community, including you, Twin.
It's shaped me in the sense that it's really allowed me to appreciate the unpretentious side of life while still grasping for the abstract. So I really like that Godzilla movies are pretty transparent about who's good and who's evil, and that we should take care of each other. No one is really above anyone in terms of their value and stuff. It's just very human. There's something very charming and human about it. It acknowledges human faults, but it also is able to champion for the good that we've been given.
Godzilla made me realize that it's okay to be different and strange, and it's okay to be misunderstood, because you are kind of like the Miki to my Godzilla in a way, because it's like you can talk to me in a way that I can understand. It doesn't make me feel like I'm being talked down to, because there are people that don't do it, but a lot of people that do, and it's like, okay, you're autistic, I'm gonna have to talk to you like you don't understand things, and it's like, if I don't understand, I'll tell you. So, and it's like, and also just Godzilla taught me that it's okay to be angry at the way I am in my life, in the sense of that people don't understand, and it's not my job to make them understand, but I try to help them understand. But also, just, it's okay to not fit in. It's okay to just be who you are. It's okay to not belong, because there's a place for everyone.
He is a vessel. You pour stuff into Godzilla. We can pour ourselves into Godzilla. He is a malleable metaphor for the society ills that threaten us. I can use him to channel what I'm angry about, what I'm scared about. I'm the father of a half Filipino, half American boy. People are going to look at him and say that he's Mexican, or that he's Asian, neither of which are having a really good time in this country right now. So I'm taking all that anxiety and fear and I'm channeling it into something that might help someone. Even if all that it is just, you're not alone, I'm scared too, let's go kick some Nazis.
Godzilla is an examination of the human condition and human flaws and human qualities with regard to perseverance, survival, humility, understanding like the evils in the world and how to overcome them. As a gay person, being able to see this character depicted as an anomaly, as a hero in some instances, as a very humanized creature in other instances, like surviving in this world where so much is working against him, right?
Everything's designed to kill him, yeah.
Right. And
surviving.
that for me, when I was a kid, like I was just like little Donny was like, Godzilla can survive all of this stuff, so I can walk into this school where I know I'm going to get beat up every day and get through it.
Well, to me, that Godzilla gets me shaped to make me become a fan and trying to get more collectibles for every merchandise that many popularity enough.
It sounds like he's really like made you want to like kind of involve yourself in the fandom, right? Like collect, make friends, etc. I think that's awesome. Well, obviously, we wouldn't have met without that, right?
Being a Godzilla fan, I think that the deeper you dive and the more you dig into it, and especially the more you listen and not project, and part of that is understanding not just the intent behind it, but the people behind it. Because these are films, and this is a franchise and a genre really born in another culture.
Oh yeah.
And if you take time to understand aspects of that culture, especially the aspects that are counter to your own, it broadens your worldview. I think if you understand the people and the reasoning and rationalization behind your favorite media, you then understand the people a little better, and that helps expand your horizons. And with the kaiju genre in particular, the core perspective is how small humanity really is. Like it's that speech by Raymond Burr at the end of Godzilla 85. It's being reminded how small you are, but you can make a difference, but it's gotta be in, you gotta do your best. And sometimes you can't make a difference, but that doesn't mean you don't try.
In a sense, like, kind of seeing myself in this character and also going through my experience, I have a little bit more like freedom to take care of myself in a way that I found that I can stand up for myself more. That I've always been the kind of person that would be like, you know, I'll do whatever anyone else wants me to do. I'm gonna like just be very passive. I'm not gonna like rock the boat. I'm just gonna let everyone step all over me. Now I'm not like that as much anymore. Now I'm like, I'm going to stand up for myself. If there's something that I don't like that someone is doing to me, I'm this big monster now. I'm just gonna smash it. I don't like it. I'm gonna smash it. I'm not gonna roll over and take it anymore, and I'm not gonna be anyone's emotional punching bag anymore.
It allowed me to get my master's degree. Godzilla has allowed me to kind of take this fun approach, and I still enjoy being an academic and researching, but it was the first time where I actually brought something to bear that I really loved and felt comfortable with, but also appreciated learning about in a way that I beyond fandom. And so there's all these moments are put into these films with intent, and to be able to see that kind of made me appreciate them in a whole other levels than I did just as a childhood fan, and so I guess it just enriched my level, and that's how the study of Godzilla has kind of made me appreciate the art form, as a fan.
He's kind of my muse. It's one of those things I keep coming back to him. This is kind of my outlet with my stories and my little fantasy worlds to escape to when I need to just unwind. And Godzilla has given me that. He's there when I need to get away. He's there when I need to process something dark, when I need something destroyed, when I need some enemy defeated. He's always there in that regard.
I think it's given me a broader perspective, like kind of paraphrasing what was said at the end of Godzilla versus Biollante. It's like, no matter where you go, people are the same. Like going to all these conventions, like if anything, because of Godzilla, I've met so many great people. I wouldn't be talking to you otherwise.
Right, likewise.
Because of all the people I've met, the friends that I've made, there's always a reflection of humanity in him.
Obviously, I've become an author since then, and my first book was a kaiju homage to all of those things. That certainly is significant. It's the Godzilla films and stuff like the Universal monster films that really sort of gave me that interesting perspective of not viewing monsters as just obstacles or big dumb brutes, but as proper characters.
Right.
And that's something I try to incorporate into a lot of my different works.
Since I was very academic, my relationship with Godzilla in these films was very academic growing up. I always kind of have developed an appreciation for the filmmaking process, the creative process, talking with my friends about Eiji Tsuburaya, and they're like, who? And it was just like, oh, come on, Subaraya. My development was in the filmmaking process and video. That's why I got into video editing and audio production and, doing visual effects and things like that, and never went to Hollywood or anything. I didn't really care to do that, but on my own, in my own little channel here, and then doing television production, I always had that appreciation for the creative process and how all of these elements here, there, and everywhere between what you see and what you hear all comes together in this great creative work.
I've always said this of Godzilla as if it's a real, like I speak of Godzilla as a franchise, as a character, as all the stuff, whether it's the toys or the many books I've read or the just pile of DVDs. But the key takeaway is that I always say Godzilla has been there for me. He's been there for me. And I'll go a step farther and say that the biggest impact he's had is on my creativity and the inspiration it has given me and the opportunities it has given me.
One of the things that it has definitely helped to foster in me is an appreciation of Japanese culture. Now, I was always interested in things from Japan, video games, anime, and things like that. But the more I really started diving into these films and seeing them in the original Japanese finally, and hearing them in the original language, it was an educational time for me, because this was the first time I was really taking that media and looking at it from the lens of, I'm the fan kind of looking in on this very different culture and learning things. And then the more I learned about those things, subtly things that just seemed just like ridiculous concepts or just out there fantasy ideas, subtly I find out there's cultural resonance with these things.
From the short Godzilla movies, I guess those kind of taught me to, I guess in a sense, never give up, honestly. Especially the 70 films when Godzilla's just getting his butt beat all those films besides Megalon. And somehow Godzilla still ended up being triumphant at the end of the day. So when I watched the Heisei Godzilla films, those really shaped me in a weird, really good way. To me, there's a reason for everything that everybody does. Everyone's not evil at first glance.
I don't think we ask serious questions like that, where we're like, okay, we love this character and these films, but internally, what are they doing for us aside from just providing much needed entertainment, right? If we look at each film, there's lessons that are being conveyed. There's themes, there's metaphors, right?
Well, a lot of the shaping, I feel like, has probably come up in the last few years. Ever since I started trying to do the podcast, Kaiju Weekly, I started doing Kaiju Weekly, and of course with the magazine Kaiju Ramen, that I started appreciating the films in a way that I had never really appreciated them before. But so much of my humor was shaped by Mystery Science Theater 3000, because I grew up watching that, and a big part of my love of that is from Godzilla, because it kind of was like that bridge. It's not that far of a leap to go from Godzilla men in suits monster movies to here's a show that's sitting and watching and laughing while enjoying, because they do enjoy. I think that you should be able to laugh at the stuff that you love. That doesn't take away the love that you have for something, but I think it's okay. And that's kind of my mentality has always been that, and that was shaped by the monster movies and the movies I grew up enjoying, because I grew up enjoying movies that other people thought were silly. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? They are kind of silly, but you know what? I love them, and I love them because they're silly. I love them in spite of the silliness.